Put the wires behind me.
Plug it in. Hold on.
Looks like oh, okay. So what am I very about regular?
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But from where you come from. Okay. Huh?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know. I was saying cleared off and left around the pond. No, we had to record it. We had to record it. It happened on Friday. Oh, 2 Fridays in a row. And not the last one. 2 weeks. The week before, and the week before that. But you know, it's like, I don't know. Are we live?
Yeah. Is that microphone on?
Not yet.
What microphone?
Hello?
It's making a noise.
Yes?
That one's on.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen? Excuse me? Hello? Welcome to the Zoning Commission. This is a regular meeting on March 2nd, 2020, right here at the Town Hall Auditorium.
Oh, you got the good one. Which one's doing that? Not this one. That one. That one. I think that's the one making the noise.
Yeah.
Yes.
See if it works. See if it works. If it does.
Thank you, John.
Oh, it might be this one.
Might be this one. Again, welcome to the
Yeah.
Wait.
It's going in and out.
It's all right.
This one.
We should put a sticker on that one.
No, they don't. I sent them all today.
Again, welcome to the Zoning Commission meeting tonight. We're going to roll call. We have Dan Ferrero, Paige Rassid, Carl Walton, myself, Jill Conklin, Lucas Cherry, and Jennifer Rohr, staff liaison. We have a public hearing tonight, and first on our public hearing, actually I'm going to talk about the public hearing. When the public hearing opens, if you want to speak, you're going to have to come up to the podium, sign in with your name and address, and then you can use this microphone right here in front of me.
The one John turned off.
We'll turn it on. Thanks, John. The first public hearing. Or you can turn it off.
It is that.
I think they're, yeah. The first public hearing, number 20001, Jangris Development, Eleanor Road, Somers, Connecticut. It's a proposed text amendment to add Article XXVI, Detached Housing Development Zone, a DDH. DHD. We'll get something right tonight. So at this time, we'd like the applicant to present. You want, yes, you can use that for sure.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, members of the Commission. My name is Donald Poland. I am a planner based at 42 Quinn Street in Stafford Springs, Connecticut. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant for this proposed text amendment. If you recall, we were back before you some time ago, I think starting in the fall twice for pre-application meetings. We successfully got referred out of the Planning Commission last month with a favorable recommendation on our text amendment. And tonight we're before you to present the amendment to you formally. I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. I'm assuming you've had an opportunity to review the information proposed to you. So essentially, we're dealing with the Eleanor Drive property, which was a 17-unit age-restricted housing development. As you know, my client has also been the developer for the Summers Village property, which I believe is 81 units or so, which has taken over 10 years to actually build out, and there's still 3 remaining units to be developed at that location. The fact is, at the end of the day, the market from the mid-2000s related to age-restricted housing has essentially collapsed in the central Connecticut area. The fact is, none are being proposed unless they're assisted living style facilities, and the ability to sell them has declined greatly. So what we put forth here is essentially, the text amendment that we put forth is essentially almost a mirror image of your existing age-restricted housing zone that this development was approved under. At the end of the day, we're not looking for a change in kind of lot sizes and all those bulk and area requirements. What we're looking for is an ability to develop this property out without the age restrictions. So, you guys are comfortable with your age-restricted housing regulation. You approved developments under it, and we therefore recreated it into what we call the detached housing development zone, the DHD. So essentially, it's the same regulation with a few tweaks to it. One is it eliminates the age-restricted requirements. The units remain 2-bedroom units. That does not change. I'll speak to that in a moment. And then we made a few minor adjustments within the regulations to accommodate an approved application coming back through. So things like, so the process moving forward on this is the applicant, if this was approved, has to come back to you for a zoning map amendment to have this placed on that property. What the regulation does now is when someone's coming back in, they wouldn't have to redo traffic studies and those things related to this development, since it's an already approved development. Other than that, the regulation has mostly stayed the same. So my report that was submitted with this focused on a few things. One is the comprehensive plan of zoning. Communities often don't realize that state law and case law define the zoning regulations and the zoning map as a comprehensive plan for the future development of the community. As my statements show in my report, we believe we are consistent with the comprehensive plan of zoning, so we're making no substantive or substantial change here. You have a 17-unit approved development with 2 bedrooms per unit that will remain a 17-unit development. So from a land use perspective, nothing's changing other than the age restriction. In the context of the plan of conservation and development, which is the town's comprehensive plan, which is a 10-year document recently approved by the community, we also demonstrate, we show through 4 bullets on, I believe, what is page 3, we demonstrate that we're actually consistent with many of the provisions related to housing within the COCD, such as the plan states that most housing in Summers is owner-occupied, detached. Summers has less multifamily housing, which might be of interest to an older household than surrounding communities. This is a detached development. This will be owner-occupied, and most likely this will still attract an older household due to the 2 bedrooms. We also recognize that there's a need for a more affordable housing stock. Not that this is an affordable housing proposal, but the plan does discuss affordable housing. Once again, being 2 bedrooms, the price points on these units are going to be at a more reasonable price point than typical larger housing. Your plan also says encourage housing in or near Summers Center. We believe we do fit the definition of near Summers Center. And the plan goes on to state housing is a critical element of a successful and vibrant village center. And the plan also states high density housing should be focused in or near the villages. Once again, we believe we comply with that. I provided a fiscal analysis, fiscal impact analysis of the property to show the existing property taxes being paid by the property at this point in time, which are approximately $5,000. I then project out what the actual costs and expenses will be from the development, post-development with the 17 units. As part of that, I did an analysis of your education budget, your school-age children, the cost per school-age child, and so forth. One thing I want to make clear in this is that my report actually used numbers on school-age children, just to give context how long this has taken, or how things change. I started working on this, I believe, back in September, and at that point, the school board's estimate for number of school-age number of enrollments entering at the beginning of September was 1,379, and I used that number in my report. Updated numbers, the official enrollment numbers are always done per state requirement as of October 1st. So at the time I wrote this report, I didn't have those numbers. Since then, there has been a newspaper article about the education budget and enrollment, and in that, your Board of Ed or superintendent actually referenced that the actual enrollments as of October 1st were 1,300. It's 79 enrollment decrease since I wrote the report, and that enrollments are projected to continue to decline. This is consistent with what I'm seeing almost throughout all of Connecticut. It's consistent with changes in our demographic structure, and we still have in our minds this idea that every housing unit produces, 2 school-age children or more. But just some very quick numbers for you that I think kind of drive home the differences. In 1960, only 13% of households were single-person. Today, nationwide, they're 29%. In 1970, 43% of households were married couples with children. Today, that number is 18%. When you look at multifamily product, this is kind of quasi being a condo, the single-person households actually jump up between 40 and 50%. The fact is, we're smaller households, we have fewer children, we marry later, we have fewer children at the end of the day and so forth. Days of the Brady Bunch are long in the past, and housing really doesn't generate as many school-age children as it used to. 80% of your housing has 3 bedrooms or more, and you're only generating about 0.36 student enrollment per housing unit. That's with 80% of your housing being 3 bedrooms or more. This is 1 and 2 bedroom housing. We project no more high-end 5 students potentially with the 2 bedroom mix. And the fact is, when you then adjust for full education costs, local share, allocated, and then what I do new to district, all 4 scenarios I ran on the fiscal impact are positive. I'm using the allocated share, which shows us as a fiscal positive of, I believe, what was it, 57,000 or 50? Yeah, 57,131. I think it could be as high as around 80,000, but I'm being conservative in that number. That's why I didn't use the new to district, which is more favorable. I accounted for general government expenses in that number and not just education expenses. So I think we have a reasonable request here. We have a zoning district. We have a text amendment that will create a zoning district that then my client, the applicant, would have to come back for a zoning map amendment to allow this to take place on this property. I just want to emphasize that with you just to keep in mind. This does not mean that we are listing age restriction from any other property within the community, that if any other property with such restrictions wanted to come forward, they would have to come through the zone change amendment process. And just as a reminder, as you guys know, you have a lot of authority and discretion when granting a legislative decision that is an amendment or map change versus an administrative decision where you're more subject to a court ruling. Courts never overturn or rarely ever overturn a legislative decision by a commission. So I'll end there in the interest of time, and I encourage you to ask me questions if you have them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open it up to the public. if anyone would like to come forward and speak on this application. I guess in favor of first, right? We'll do favor. You, right up there.
May or may not work.
Well, it's not. I can speak loudly.
Maybe I'll shut.
Don't yell, George.
Okay.
Ada, no.
Is it working?
No?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. They
You gotta-
say yes.
you gotta get kinda
We couldn't
close.
tell.
Close?
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry.
For the record, my name is George Schober. I live at 98 Rocky Dundee Road. I do want to disclose that I, in most instances, am representing Tom Corenzo and Gingras Development. I am not doing so tonight. I am here as a resident. I am not here as the company's attorney. I do want to say that I think that this is an excellent proposal. It's something that the town can use. I think there's a need for it. Anytime you can provide a variety of housing in a town, I think it's a good thing. Ellington has taken 2 active adult communities and allowed them to be converted to this type of development. There's one right across from Ellington High School, and it turned out to be a very nice project, and the people that are living in there, having spoken to some of them, are very pleased with the mix of people. I think that's one of the downsides of the active adult communities. My folks, when they were 80, moved into one, and when we would visit them in Vernon, they lived there about 12 years, and when we would visit them, it was pretty much a ghost town. And I think it's good for all age mixes to hear the sounds of laughter from children, and I think it's good for the children to see older adults in a community like that, where they can experience older people walking around. I don't think that the town of Somers is going to be overrun with these. I think there are a limited number of parcels that would support this type of housing. The Eleanor Road piece, I think, is an excellent location for this. As you drive in there, I can't ever see where you'll have high-end housing there. You drive in, you now have self-storage units, you have industrial. I think it's just it still may be a little bit of a tough sell. But I do think that this would be one of the better locations in town. And construction activity, of course, is not great in Connecticut for new home construction. And I do think it's a positive for the tax roll, as Mr. Poland said. When you look at our school system, every year enrollment has been declining. It's declined substantially. We have tremendous fixed costs, and the cost per student continues to go up. The number of students that would be living in a 2-bedroom unit would be, I think, fairly small. I think you won't see 3, 4, 5 kids. So I would encourage the commission to consider this, and I hope that the commission would approve this. Like I said, I do think it's a very net positive for Somers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, for the record, my name is Suzanne Bastrash, and I live at Harness Drive, Somers. And I have been living in this town since I was 5 years old. I think that it's long overdue, and I think that we could use a little diversity in our town. I think Eleanor Road is a perfect location for this type of development, and I think it would be nice to have single units that are new construction, that are, you know, more affordable for maybe some young families to start off in this town. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Jeff Lipton, 452 South Road. I too speak in favor of this change to the amendment for the age restricted and removing that from it. I think that, as you were told earlier, there's not much need or much use right now for the age restricted housing. Most people that are retiring are getting the hell out of Connecticut, not hanging around. So hopefully you can find a few younger people that have been looking for a place in summers, maybe haven't been able to find something affordable in summers. And this would absolutely give young people or children of people that have been residents of town that can't find a place they can afford, maybe a place they can now. And it'd be a good starter for anybody who's looking to start off to live in town. And the few kids it would put in the school system would probably have really no effect on what's there now, since, like you said, the school population has been dropping. I think that it's something that the commission should look favorably upon, and hopefully will approve it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, I'm Danny Hinckley. I've been doing Gingras Developments work.
Your location?
Address?
178 Highland View Drive. We've been doing work for them for probably at least 20 years now. In Ellington, Stafford, Summers, and their projects are always top-notch. There's no messes. Summers Village is a good, just drive through there, how nice that is. So, and that behind there, it's all, no sewer impact. Everything stays there. So it's a perfect spot for what he's asking for young kids too. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jody Cox, 28 White Birch Circle. I'm a realtor with Caldwell Banker. And I think this is a great idea, and I asked Tom if I could come support it, because there's no diversity in this town. This is answering a lack of something we just don't have in town. And I think it's something we need to keep people in town, because they're leaving town because there's just not affordable housing. So I think it's a great idea. The development will be fabulous, and it'll bring more people into town, or let people stay in town, which is really important. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else like to come forward and speak in favor of the applicant? Anybody like to come forward and speak in opposition? No?
Okay.
That was quick.
Have any questions, Joe?
Do I have any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's saying affordable housing. Is this going to be affordable housing?
It is.
It is.
Summers doesn't offer any
Well,
kind of,
It's not going to be classified
I
as
have to
affordable.
address it to this gentleman, because we can't have a, right?
Yeah, always a challenging, this working?
No.
No.
Actually, it sounded like...
The other one.
Oh, right.
We have a-
Switched microphones. My apologies. For the record, Tom Poland once again. Let's be cautious with that word. So there's official governmental definitions of affordable housing in the sense of under zoning laws called 8-30G, where 30% of the units have to be constructed at either 80 or 60% of area median income. Just in a number range. So your median income, the area median income is like 97,000, 80% AMI would be around 77,000. We are not proposing that.
Okay.
So it's not officially defined affordable housing. When I use the phrase affordable, I believe in my presentation, it was just the fact that your current housing stock, and this is just a statement of fact, this isn't for better or worse, is overwhelmingly 3 bedrooms or more. I show it in my data there. 80% of your housing stock has 3, 4, and 5 bedrooms. Your housing stock, based on the period of time, based on the demographics of the community, is a larger housing stock with larger homes in excess of, 2,000 square feet and up from there. What this product is a 2-bedroom product at a more moderate square footage. I can't recall. Right, 1,500 square feet. So value per square foot, the same. Total cost due to lower square footage, less bedrooms, more affordable than the typical, you know, 4-bedroom plus stock that exists within the house, but not affordable housing as defined by law.
What's the projected selling price?
We're shooting for 300,000, give or take.
About, what, is that around 175 to 200 per square foot then?
I have to do the math, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you're close.
1,500 times 200 would be 300.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so around $200 a square
Yeah.
foot, give or take. So,
Yeah, it's affordable compared to
right.
existing
If
housing.
you were doing 3,000 square feet, then you'd be talking
Oh.
$600,000. So that's
Which is
where
not
the,
affordable.
right,
Yeah.
that's where the more affordable comes in, it's just the
Okay.
square footage value.
So I see that we're calling this a detached housing development zone, which
Yep.
is, it's essentially a condominium,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
What's the, when you say condominium, what's
Well,
a condominium versus a home?
well, they're attached,
Well, yeah.
they're,
It's a single lot under
Yeah.
common
Cluster.
ownership
Okay.
by an association
Okay.
with 17 unit members to the association.
and this would be a common ownership, so
Correct,
the association would be taking care of the grounds
correct.
and all of that.
The grounds,
So,
the
okay.
road, all of
So
that.
that becomes less affordable, actually, for some people.
Yeah, I mean,
So, I mean, I've heard affordable almost by every
Right.
person, but,
And
Yeah. No, so you do have the common interest fees,
Mhm.
the association fees that get factored into
Mhm.
it. So, yeah, that does change.
do you have a
Would those
projection on
fees
what those would
double?
be?
I mean,
No.
I assume we're not going from 300 to 600,000 because of
Yeah, no.
some
But the month,
basic fees.
but the monthly payments.
the monthly, the homeowners association,
Well, it's not gonna double the mortgage,
No,
right?
it's not gonna double it.
probably
so,
gonna be
Yeah, the minimal amount.
250 to 300,
Yeah.
somewhere in that
A month.
range. A month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, which is not doubling it.
No, it
If they went
who said double?
Well, no, you're just saying affordable, I'm saying, it sounds affordable. I wanted to make sure it's not doubling it. It doesn't sound
No,
like it
just,
is.
we're just putting it out there.
Right.
This is our only opportunity to take in information and get information, so that's what we're doing.
Understood.
And then there was on page 5 on here, on D, you put, dwelling shall have 3
Bedrooms.
bedrooms. Sleeping purposes, dwelling units will be 3.
It's the maximum.
Well, well, still, that's, we said 2, right? I mean,
ARB 2
yeah, but I'm just clarifying what's on page, it's, section D on page 5 of 7. Are you thinking 3 people?
No. I must
Okay.
have been so.
I don't know what-
No, I must have been so bent on not saying 3 that I said.
Said 3? Okay.
My-
So is that supposed to be 2 there?
Yes,
Okay.
that's supposed to be 2. My apologies on that, that was not
Just-
intended. And I appreciate your attention to detail, so.
On that same page in parking and circulation requirements,
Yep.
Which one's that, Carl?
same page 5 of 7,
Yep, but
D.
D, the lower D.
214162D,
Yep,
not less than 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit when the original AHD or age
Was.
restricted was 2.25.
yeah. So I had this conversation with the planning commission. I think they ended up deciding not to comment on it, even though they did ask questions about it. I've basically had this general feeling that we overbuild parking. My general, my work and so forth has always shown that, the actual vehicles generated by a development are far less than what zoning typically requires. So I did bring it back, from 0.25 to 2 itself, recognizing it's 2 bedrooms. The chances of, someone with 2 teenage children just to stay in 3 vehicles is very slim. At the end of the day, as I do say in the beginning of the document, you guys have the ability to approve, modify, or that D word. We're totally open to if you want to go back to the 2.25, we're totally open to that as a modification.
But if approved, I just want to make sure, this would only, the 2.0 spaces would apply only to this
No,
applicant?
no,
No, this
this is,
is-
we're making a suggestion of a new amendment to the
To the zoning
regulations.
regulations.
So we're gonna have a two-car garage, and we'll have at least two in the driveway, so there'll be space for four.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but this
This
goes
doesn't say
to
that.
what you compute when you're planning the development, not what you may actually say you have.
It says not less than two,
.25, this says 2,
with, but it says one being in the garage, and then one...
and 1 being
So that
out.
doesn't say a two-car garage. Yeah, I know this stuff can change, but that's just what it's saying here. It's saying one being in the garage, so that would be a one-car garage, and then one being outside the garage. So if the car inside the garage wants to leave, the car outside has to move. So people tend to park on the street, so that doesn't happen. These streets are generally narrower
Then what,
Then-
like state highway?
Well, they are.
No,
They-
than a
They're a
town-
little
even a town
narrower than
road.
a town road, correct? Am I
Right.
correct?
What we've got at Summers Village,
Yeah,
right?
Which is,
yeah,
And
And we have on-street parking in Summers Village on one side of the road.
on one side of the road, yeah.
yeah, so it's the same as that, okay.
Mhm.
No, they're required to have 2.25 parking spaces per
Per
dwelling
unit.
unit
Well,
there.
currently, well, you
No,
know,
in Summers Village.
yeah, currently.
Right.
But, you know, on future, if it was approved, it would be 2 or consideration, based upon the applicant now, right?
This is what they're
Yeah,
proposing.
so-
Yeah. Okay,
Sure.
how specifically would 2 versus 2.25 make a difference in what? and how-
17 units? It
17,
would be
well, 0.25.
another 4 parking spaces for the whole development.
Right.
Which a parking space is what, 8 by 19?
It's 12 by
7 by-
20, I don't remember what it is.
7 by 2140, so you're talking 800 square feet over,
give or take.
well,
So
Yeah.
we're fine with the .25 that's used, so it'll have no material effect on this development, but as you stated, we recognize it could have a material effect on a development going forward.
Did you receive the planning minutes?
Um,
Referred that
Are they here?
and
Can
the
you-
issue of visitor parking?
Did they say, what's it, I didn't see that. Well,
No, I don't think we
No.
got those. Is that in this packet you gave us?
Planning referral, what, which,
that's fine.
I can read it if you'd like.
You wanna read
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Then everybody, you want the microphone for that?
Should have that.
Yeah, turn yours off, we'll turn this on.
On one,
Only one word.
At a time.
Well, they both, but only one at a time.
They work, but not the same
It's like two and a quarter.
if you
Nope,
talk
you
one
just
at a
turned it-
time,
there
that'd be
you go.
good, right? Go ahead, give it a
Okay,
try.
the zoning commission, the planning commission, Thursday, February 13th, discussed and reviewed application 20-001, Assembly Development. Jeff Ford recommended revising the first paragraph and removing young professionals and empty nesters reference. And the issue of visitor parking was also discussed. So when Jeff looked at the site plan, his thought was, where would visitors park? Also the street, and that perhaps maybe there be some specified visitor parking for the development. Those are the only comments. They did make a motion to send the referral back with a positive referral, including the revision of the first paragraph, removing the reference to young professionals and empty nesters. And the motion was seconded, and all were in favor.
Okay.
It's
You want
on.
to see that?
One's on.
Well, Jeff.
See that for a minute, I was,
Yeah.
sorry.
Trying not to be.
Lit, unlit?
The issue of visitor. So they said the issue of visitor parking was also discussed,
Right.
but they didn't elaborate on what they discussed.
I think that was the,
So essentially, we had, if I may, we had the same discussion I just
That
had
we're having
with you
here?
guys.
Okay.
And they opted not to place to make a conditional comment on it. So they did recommend that that last phrase in the intent paragraph at the beginning, remove young professionals, but they opted not to comment on the parking. At the end, they just kind of had this, we're not that concerned, but it was discussed, so.
Okay.
So, my general feeling, if they had made a recommendation, it would have been returned to the 2.25. That's where I felt they may have been heading, but they never went there.
Okay. Pages, Dan, you have any questions?
Are they gonna be a two-car garage or a one-car garage?
Two-car.
Two-car.
But two cars at the same time being
Two-car
there.
garage, at least two in the driveway.
Yeah,
So
okay,
four.
four, okay.
Yeah, that works better than
Right.
the other place, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot in your package.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a very good,
There's always a lot in your
proposal.
package.
The only other question I have is item 8. Where you're basically saying that since this is pre-approved, it's pre-approved before, that you don't,
Page 3.
all we would need to do is amend them out.
Page
I think enough time has transpired that, as you pointed out, traffic study, et cetera, would need to be redone. I don't know when this was originally approved, in 2000 and,
It's been about 8 or 10 years.
I think enough things have changed. It also is different from the age restricted.
which one, Colonel?
Well, they want to waive the, any and all application fees,
Three, okay.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Is that what you-
Oh, okay.
because in this case, it's affecting something uniquely affected. Because it was approved once before. Did you say 15 years ago?
8 to 10.
8 to 10 years
It's still
ago.
in effect for what it is.
Right.
We haven't expired.
Okay. And does
Wasn't
anybody
it-
recall what those originally were back then?
Well, yeah.
Oh, exactly.
It's age restricted.
Right.
Okay.
So wasn't that approved and then you purchased it? Is
Yes.
that correct? So you didn't come in for the approval,
That's
right?
correct.
Okay.
So if I
Trying to
understand
remember
correctly,
that.
so someone has paid the town for the fee,
Yes, they have.
and then the town would get paid again for the fee because of a new owner, right?
Well,
If approved?
that's what they're thinking.
No,
Yeah.
no, well,
Yeah.
this is saying that if you approve this zone,
Yeah.
You automatically
you would,
approve.
you would be approving just a modification to the existing age-restricted housing approval, which,
I don't think this
I mean, I
is,
think it's a new
I
application.
think it's a whole new,
Even if it were a modification to not collect any fee at all, you have to run a legal notice. And, you know, that would be then on the town to pay the legal notice fees.
yeah.
If you didn't at least have maybe not the full fees that are for the entire thing, you know, just, for example, in ZBA, when you go for a few variances, you pay the $300 fee, and then if there's additional variances needed, it's $100 for each additional variance. So something to that effect, that if you're for a modification, say what the fee would be for modification, you have to run legal notice in the paper, because it's a public hearing.
Yep.
Yep.
Would it be possible to somehow mention, it kind of sounds strange the town would pay twice, but, understanding they would cover those new legal fee costs, is there any way to put wording to indicate,
Well, you just take out that they're not being charged, because we have our fee structure already in place in the office.
yeah, but it wouldn't
For
be the
applicants.
normal fee because it,
I mean, there's
or,
different fees, I'm not sure what it is in here, based on the number of units or something, like however it's,
Yeah, it's all outlined right in here, actually.
Right,
It's
I don't know.
verbatim from the
I don't know
original,
what page it's on.
the original regulation.
right.
It's in
It's
the
right,
package.
it's right
on
there.
which-
It's in the same section we're discussing, right above it.
So in terms of the
That's
layout,
the flat
the
fee
layout-
plus X amount for each unit.
Right.
in terms of the site plan, is there going to be any changes to it? Different,
No, boundary lines are the same, the road.
All the buildings are the same, in the exact same spot, the exact same spec, the exact same sizes.
Well, they were attached when it was originally approved. We pulled them apart.
So you do have a new plan then,
We will have a new plan.
I mean, I'm just thinking of,
which the
If you
town will
want
have to
to-
review to verify.
Correct.
There'll be expenses.
Yeah.
And to my point, in 8 years of time in the traffic, would be a good idea to have a new traffic study or somebody update your existing.
And that would be what Jeff Board reviewing it for the town, for a traffic study? We've had any
No,
other
they would hire
traffic
a
studies
traffic
before.
engineer. They'd hire a traffic engineer and give us the report.
Right.
Wow.
Oh.
a big part of these applications is also sort of common use areas.
Right.
You know, so recreation, you're not gonna have a pickle court in maybe a younger development, whereas in an age-restricted housing area, you might have something that really caters to those folks. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
So my point is, you know,
For eating?
I know it's been at least 8 years since I
Shuffleboard?
saw that plan, so with these new inhabitants, maybe changes, I'd wanna see it as if it were a new application.
So there could be a
Yeah,
lot of new
'cause
pickle
we're-
players? Or
I mean, you
no?
might,
Alex,
you probably
we'll talk later.
don't, you probably don't
We
have,
intend on reapplying it. I mean,
Yeah.
that goes without saying. With
Yeah.
updated maps.
because this is a whole, I don't think this is a modification to the age-restricted housing myself. I think it's a whole new category of housing.
So you would strike out
Yeah,
number 8.
because, I mean, I know right now it's an age-restricted housing, what we're talking about, but I don't see it as an age-restricted housing on paper.
What do you mean?
It's not a modification to an age-restricted, it's a new,
Well-
it's like it's a condominium for anybody to buy at any age, it's not age-restricted. Age-restricted limits the amount of people that can live there, the age of the people.
Well, it almost sounds like discrimination.
It's not discrimination, it's legal.
Well, just because it's legal,
is,
doesn't mean it's
well-
discrimination. Many years ago, what was legal?
Well, what was
Discrimination.
It was
But
designed,
that's the age restriction we're looking at,
Yes,
having this
yeah.
type of development be permitted in Summers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Just on the Eleanor, or is it
No,
all-
this
No,
would
no,
be,
that's
It
But-
could be anywhere,
This
if
would-
it met the
this
requirements
would be
that
a
are
new,
outlined.
this is a text amendment to our zoning regulations, which if somebody had a piece of land that was conducive to this type of development, they also would be able to apply.
Okay. And our current regulations, side by side, what are the major differences?
We don't allow this
Well, I know
currently in
we
our
don't,
regular.
but what, if I said them,
We
know,
allow
it-
this
Next,
age restricted.
the primary difference is the age restriction, and that was the basis on which it was
Yeah.
blessed by the
yeah,
townspeople.
so
Mhm.
he's just asking to modify,
To make
age
it no,
restriction.
right, make it a
Okay.
condo instead of age-restricted housing.
that sounds reasonable.
Age restricted has to have sewer and water, I believe.
Well, no, this does,
Public.
this,
No, but I'm
this
just
would,
saying
no, but
it's
this
not-
would, this has all of the same exact things
Yeah.
written into it because it's
cluster housing.
virtually the exact regulation with the wording age-restricted removed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it is a little different, you know.
Actually, does this mention water?
What?
It has public water.
Public water?
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah, but
proposed to
sewer
have public
system.
water and a community sewer system
Yeah,
already.
age restricted.
And I'm
It
guessing
was already
that,
approved.
Yeah.
It was already approved that way.
right.
But that was the hook up to it. I mean, this is fine, because
Can we
I saw
ask that the
too. It
people
was
in the
okay,
audience
but it's
please
the
not
same
talk? I've been asked by 2 people up here to quiet the audience. Thank you.
Speak up then, so we can hear, please.
Excuse me?
Would you speak up so we can hear them, please?
Sure.
Could always come closer to the front, too.
There's more seats up here.
All right, so thanks so much.
If I may, so just my rationale on that, I'll give it to you, and then, I left the initial $200 fee in place. I left the soil and sedimentation control fees in place. Kind of the feeling that there may be a repetitiveness here. At the end of the day, these will be your regulations. These are at your discretion, and as I said previously, you do have the ability to modify. So if you don't agree with number 8 and you feel the need to strike it, you can. I just want you to know what my thought process was going into drafting it. So.
Okay. And all these numbers you provided, knowing this could be a change for all future, some of the members had said, you know, if there's property that would meet these, you know, somebody with similar property could apply, these numbers and how it affects the town would still be the same.
They still apply, so that carve-out in A specifically noted for an already approved, you know, development, so a new application would be subject to it. I can't necessarily argue with your interpretation that due to the fact of the material change of age restricted, that it's not a new application, so.
Tomato or tomato?
So we get to interpret, you know, so I recognize there can be a difference in interpretation there, so.
I mean, based upon the public's comments, the numbers you've provided, what concerns would someone have, you know, regarding removing it or taking it away? I mean, you know, I'm trying to find, because we obviously must have had a concern originally.
Well, the original concern, Lucas, quite frankly, was when we did the initial plan of conservation and development, which the original age-restricted regulations came out of, okay?
Yep.
There was a recognized need to provide housing opportunities for the aging public, okay, because we are all getting older.
Yes.
Okay. And this was thought as being an alternative for them as opposed to being stuck in their homes with much more maintenance to deal with, et cetera,
yes,
to provide them with an opportunity to stay.
Yeah.
And provide it in such a way that the townspeople,
Yeah.
not the commission,
Yeah.
weren't opposed to it. Because for whatever reason, there was a large percentage of the population that did not want condominium developments in our town.
Or non-age restricted, right?
Or non-age restricted. It was sold on the basis of it being age restricted,
Okay.
being cash positive for the town,
Yeah.
in a sense, because we're not creating a town road.
Mm-hmm.
No one would populate the schools, not some, no one,
Yeah.
theoretically.
Yeah.
And it would ensure that it would provide turnover stock within the town that could be occupied by other people.
All right.
Okay?
And when was that like 15 years ago? Or
2005?
When did-
It was written while we were going through the process of 2004 and 5.
Right. But you went through the process for Summers Village, was approved after the.
But they were writing the regs as we were going.
We were.
Approved.
We were.
Yeah. Sounds familiar. Sweet. I'll take it. So we're talking, 14, 15,
15, 16 years ago, yeah.
And yeah.
And the only other thing that's happened recently, since this all went through, was there was a proposal for housing on Four Bridges Road for a tobacco farm. And that was also an extremely well-attended meeting because people were concerned that it was once again going to be misconstrued as condominiums.
Okay.
Personally, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I was just wondering because it seemed like
I mean,
there
I've
was
always looked
nobody
at
in
this as
opposition.
trying to reflect, I'm not sure, and I'll just throw this out there,
Yeah.
that with the wording of detached housing development, people understood what it was.
What do you mean they didn't understand?
That it was age restricted with the age restrictions removed,
Or condominium.
or a
That's the more
condominium for all
common-
practical purposes, because that's the more common way it's known.
So if you're saying that people didn't know, then the people in favor?
Oh, the people in favor knew.
Oh, okay. People in, but,
I think everyone knew what it was.
yeah. And this, did you have any people?
If
Yeah.
you want to speak, from the audience, you really need to state your name and, yeah.
Did you have anybody? Oh, I'm sorry.
Suzanne Bastrach, I think the difference is it's the perfect spot. The other thing is, if it was age-restricted housing and it turned out that that's the way we had to keep it, then we would be essentially, the older population would be moving in, and then people with young children would be moving into their homes. So, to me, that doesn't really make a difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was wondering for our zoning liaison, did you have anyone contact you asking what detached housing meant, or?
No.
No?
No, one or two people stopped in just to look at the site plan. But I let them know that that's the site plan from the original, age restricted approval.
Which would change.
Right. But no one didn't speak.
For or against?
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, just once again, from my perspective, since I came up with the detached housing, it was the need for something different than the age restricted. The age restricted itself also didn't say condo. From my perspective, in the context of ownership, you can break down tenure of a property as being owned or rented, and then in the category of ownership, we then have the fee simple individual owner of a lot, and then we have the common interest community laws, which we generically call condos. From my perspective, from a land use perspective, ownership is ownership, common interest is common interest, whether it's age restricted or not. I wasn't intentionally trying to avoid the word condominium.
Oh, we're not saying
No,
we were.
we're
I just wanted to be clear.
We're
We're
not
just
saying we
putting it
were.
out there for other people that may not
Yep,
recognize this.
understood.
Yeah.
Now that it's clarified, that it's a condo, it,
Doesn't have to change. I mean, that's,
well, no, is there anybody
We-
that may speak in opposition of it now?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if
Anybody
they
who
would
would
be
like
here.
to speak
Condo.
either way regarding this application? Anybody who would like, yes, sir, please come forward.
Okay, great.
You can sign in on the podium.
He was just gonna comment.
Yeah, no, I'm
Just-
just here to comment,
But-
and I'll sign in.
Okay,
Yeah.
name and
Got it,
address.
that's right?
Yep,
You got it,
name and
yeah.
address.
So my name's Chris Smith, my backyard abuts this property, 38 Bailey Lane, and, I'm in favor of what they're trying to do. I'd like to see the tax base of the town improve, I'd like to see nice homes put in, and, from a personal standpoint, I'd like to have neighbors that I feel good about, and, I think that's what this property would provide, and I'd, hate to, not hate, but I think, for the neighbors in my community, this is maybe the best solution. I think you'll have a tough time filling an age-restricted, community, as we've seen in other age-restricted developments here in Summers, and, I think, this is a good compromise, so, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Last chance. Nope. So, do you think we need more information? Do you have enough,
What?
we have quite a
I don't know if we've got enough of a cross-section of input, but I'm willing to go along with what everyone else thinks.
I mean, we can close the public hearing and not take any more information, or we can keep the public hearing open. Does anybody think it needs to?
Well, in my
review?
opinion, for the first time in a long time, we've not seen an opposition to something, which is shocking, to say the least. And I'm serious, literally.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we've said, if you want to talk about detached or condos or condominiums or whatever you call it, there's no one. So, and again, we post these meetings. It's a regular meeting. I mean, I find it kind of, when everybody's in favor of something,
Why do you call them condos? Why do you call it a condo when
Well,
it's detached?
because they're gonna be clustered,
Well, they said they're gonna be attached by structure, but not, some of them not, common walls, but some would have common walls, isn't that what I read?
no, they'll be all freestanding.
Oh,
They're all
well,
freestanding.
didn't I read that in here? I did read that.
Mm-hmm.
I know I read
Yeah,
that.
because in part of the original regulation, it was
Okay,
It
that.
so-
said they may, I don't think
So
it
these are all
requires.
freestanding?
Yeah,
In your case.
yeah.
Okay, so there's where a modification to the age-restricted gets a little, it would be better to
Cloudy.
just have this as its own animal, right here, age-restricted over here, so we're all clear, right?
Well, what are we
That
on?
is the intent, is for this to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it appears as though there's some,
But when you read into this, you're reading that
Right,
other
so
stuff.
Those are things that you don't want in there.
We would have
Yeah,
to, yeah, so I don't know if we're ready to close this, personally. Just, anybody else feel that way?
No, I
'Cause
don't.
I don't think we're gonna, well,
Could I just, please, on
Sure.
that, under definitions, detached housing is a single-family dwelling.
can you tell us where you're reading from?
Page 1,
Okay?
section 214-155 definitions. Detached do not share any walls or other structural features.
Oh.
Semi-detached do share walls and features. So that was a modification
Okay.
to make clear that they could be detached and look like single-family homes as these will, or they can be attached as the previous regulation allowed. So, hence, where my word detached housing development zone came from. So, making that distinction.
So we have a text amendment, we have a conceptual plan, because we don't know exactly what that new plan looks like.
Well, it's a site plan, not conceptual, it's not.
Well, it is
schematics or something.
conceptual, it's conceptual until we see it on paper,
Well, site
correct?
plans are different than conceptual.
I'm not sure where you're heading.
Well,
We're in the process.
whether they're attached
So you
or
don't have the plan
semi,
finalized yet?
No.
you wanna do
There's no
this,
direction we were going.
right, you wanna do
Yeah.
this first,
Correct.
and
Was the
then
original detached?
No, they were attached.
they
They
were
were
attached,
attached.
so,
Another
okay.
change in similarity.
All right, so, do you think we need any more information from you?
I don't think you do, because you're dealing, I'll be
Yeah, I
honest,
mean,
'cause,
yeah.
one, I could write you a longer report if you want.
You're dealing-
Honestly, you're dealing with the text amendment. I think you called out the things in there that you strike that language recommendation from the commission, go back to .25, strike number 8 if you so choose, and you're dealing with the text amendment. At the end of the day, if you approve the text amendment and it becomes official, then A, they're gonna have to come back for the map amendment to place this over it, and with number 8 struck and so forth, and if they're making modifications to the existing approved site plan, they're gonna have to come back to you for those modifications anyways.
Yeah.
So for those site-specific details, you're gonna see that. The big picture, kind of, this is essentially the same with some nuanced differences, and the age restriction gone is all within the text amendment.
Yeah, I mean, we can close the public hearing if you think, if everybody thinks they'd like to, if someone can make a motion, or we can keep it open if they feel, obviously this would be modified because there are some little
Yep.
changes here, or,
Yep.
and we would have our,
Oh, and
Our-
the misspoken 3 is the other modification.
Yes.
I didn't list that off.
yep,
Well, first you're gonna make a motion to close the public
Oh,
hearing.
okay.
if we're closing, or for,
All right.
Right.
Well, I'll make
So-
a motion
Joe, I
to...
Wait.
still have a question about condos. I always was under the impression condos are attached, and these are gonna be single. No?
Condos can be either attached or
Yeah.
detached.
Yeah,
Some,
'cause-
Summers Villages are condos.
Are they called, they never called them
Yeah.
that, though.
It's
Well-
an age-restricted development,
Yeah,
is what
So-
it passed us.
because when you,
Whether it's actually condos or not is irrelevant.
Condo meaning they own the building, but
Versus
not the
renting.
land.
Correct.
They want a piece of
Yeah.
land,
Right.
Homeowners
the
association.
association
Correct.
owns the land.
right.
okay.
Condo is,
And in some
It's-
instance, they own just the inside from the studs in, and the development owns from the outside, but in this case, I'm sure they'd own the whole structure,
No.
possible, well, they,
The
right?
maintenance is gonna take care of the outside just
Yeah.
like every
We're
other.
not there with all those details.
Yeah.
So those are all the things that either make it a condominium.
But it's
or-
one lot.
It's one piece of land.
Property.
Right, there's
Right.
not lots.
Yeah, it's not the building though.
Hmm.
No, it's not.
Because condo is a hot word, you know, when you're gonna put that in the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But it
know, and
also
that-
varies from
Put on
state
your
to
crash
state.
helmet.
You know, where I'm from, a condo means something different than
It
what a
does,
condo
yeah.
means up here.
Maybe I'm older, that's what it means to me, you know,
Yeah.
but,
Well, I'm-
I've never heard it broken down, that's what I was asking, so I'll know.
Well, this would allow for both, Dan.
Yeah,
To answer your question,
yes.
okay, this allows for detached
Yeah,
or semi-detached. So with shared walls and freestanding structures. So it's both.
yeah, so you're really going that route, okay.
Well, that's the way the original regulation was written, but it had the stipulation that it was age restricted.
I see. And that I never heard of that
No.
down there in that.
Here's the definition of a condo, just to
Tell me this,
clarify.
to read
You
it?
can read it.
A building or complex of buildings containing a number of individually owned apartments or houses.
Mhm.
Right, it's all encompassing.
Joint control of a country or territory.
Right,
Okay.
and then, but the specifics come out when you get
I feel better
into...
about that. No, it's been
Okay.
explained, you know?
Complex.
And it should be in the paper when you put it in.
What,
you know,
To advertise this, or,
No, I mean, explain what a condo is, because,
Like by putting the definition in, maybe?
and they're gonna be separate, homes that he's building here, you know?
in this particular case, yes, but
this
this
particular
regulation would allow for the other as well.
Either or, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But let me ask
Or
Jennifer.
if we approve it, we can modify this to whatever.
Yeah, what they're saying, right?
So we can
This is,
make a motion to close the public, hearing, then we could
Hmm.
then discuss the details as text,
Mhm.
Right. we just
leaving
wanted-
it or updating it, revising it, or condominium, or whatever we want to do. you
Yeah,
know.
we just wanted to get
We
just wanted to
just-
get that from them, because after
Clarify.
that, there won't be a lot of back
Do
and
we
forth,
want
you
to
know?
define condo?
No.
If
No.
you're gonna
No.
change that, if you're gonna change it that much, then I would propose that we need to keep the hearing open so that people have an opportunity to comment on that term.
No,
Right.
yeah, no.
Do you think it needs to be opened?
I'm mixed.
Yeah, so
Well,
am I.
then let's leave it open.
So,
What, well, I'll make a what I mean, literally, we've had 7 or 8 people in favor, none not in favor, and if we close the public hearing, we can still make modifications based upon each commissioner's concerns, correct?
correct, but we cannot take in any new information or hear any other public comments if there are.
Well, how long could this public hearing stay open?
they would need to grant an extension,
Oh.
right? Because we
They don't need to, no.
scheduled it 60 days out. We received this, we scheduled it so it was after the Hillsdale application.
Yeah.
Correct.
And this was posted legally, so people that were in favor
This
or
was
not.
posted on February 21st and February 28th.
I mean, from what I've seen, when people want to express their opposition, they definitely find a way to do it. I couldn't imagine,
Madam Chair, if I may.
you know,
I just feel like we're hung up on a nuance here.
We are.
It's, you know, condominiums are common interest communities. That's the actual legal word used in the statutes. And whether it's age restricted or not age restricted, both were common interest communities.
True.
yeah.
So, from an ownership perspective, really nothing has changed, even though there may be some perceptions as to the use of the word, so.
No argument on it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems clear.
You and
to
I
me.
agree, that's
I'm
a
only
good
one
thing.
of...
We do, we do, but
Yeah,
having lived through the approval process on age restricted and what it was like to convince the public that it was not that other word,
understood.
because it was qualified as being age restricted, was the only way that the public accepted it.
Yep. Hopefully, we're 16 years on
Yeah.
now, and that's why you
16
actually have
years
a
ago,
rare
I looked a lot
favorable
different.
audience.
So then there shouldn't be any harm with keeping it open till next month and making sure that everybody understands what we're contemplating.
Well,
I
somebody,
guess what- yeah.
well, somebody
How
can
would
make a
we-
motion if
okay.
they'd like to keep it
We
open, or...
received it in January, the first week of January.
January?
We scheduled it 60
Mhm.
days out.
I know we did.
Okay. then-
We're kind of backed up.
No, right, so they just need to grant you an extension is what I'm saying. Legally, statutorily,
Yes.
65 days, you have to open it.
Well, can I make a
And
motion?
you don't-
and then
Well, no,
just- or-
so you have 35
We could do that too.
Yeah, at least we can, again, I don't know if it's because we didn't
No, you already
see,
opened it, so you have 35 days.
oh, because we don't see opposition, we're concerned that there really is opposition, but they didn't show up when it was posted? Or that, again, it's been very rare when we've seen an applicant have everybody in favor. And for us to continue keeping this
But I
open,
think Carl's concerned that people can, if they're not here, they can watch what's in their minutes and get a better description of what he wants to do, and then have an opportunity to come back at the next meeting.
and if they
And if
don't,
no one
then-
shows up, then we close the public hearing and off we
And
go.
we're sure that if nobody shows up in the next one, yeah, there's like a cycle.
Or if we close it and the room's full the next time, then what do we do?
We tell them, be honest, there's a concept. This was posted 2 times.
Be honest.
You had the ability to come in and, I'm a grown-up, I could explain it.
We've been on the agenda multiple times
Mhm.
prior to hiring Don. So this has been published and in the paper multiple times. I came before you myself twice.
And does this go back to what, like September, October?
Well, that's what I heard Don, but I tried in the spring and summer.
January 1st, but
What do you want, kind of, you
Mr.
want to close
Frenzo
it?
is stating that
If
he
You want a motion to
if
close
that's
it?
what you want to do, sure.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to close this.
Do you want to make a motion to close it?
Second.
Dan made a motion to close the public hearing. Lucas seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
3-2.
Passes.
Yep,
Thank you.
There you go.
you're welcome.
Table for any discussion until our next meeting,
Yeah.
at least.
Yep, well, we're going to move on because this, we still have a public hearing, and we have, we're going to open these public hearings, what?
Yes, you have to.
Yes. Public hearing, public hearing number 20-002, Dan Eastman, 40 Hallie Lane, Somers, Connecticut, pursuant to the zoning regulation article X11, or II, earth removal filling, seeking a special use permit to allow blasting and excavation of material to be relocated on the same property.
And
And then, do you want to take these together? Are you, yes?
they're together.
Okay, so also application number 20003, Dan Eastman, 42 Hallie Lane, Somers, pursuant to Somers zoning regulation, Article XII, earth removal and filling, seeking a special use permit to allow blasting and excavation of material to be relocated on the same property. Said applications are on file in the Land Use Office of the Town of Somers, Somers Town Hall. At this hearing, interested persons can be heard in written communication received, dated in Somers, Connecticut, the 18th day of February 2020. This was published February 21st and February 28th, 2020.
Good evening, John Parks. I'm here on behalf of the applicants. My understanding, my understanding is that subsequent to the application being filed, the town attorney actually wrote an opinion to the zoning enforcement officer, essentially determining that the use is not permitted, and we received a copy of that the day of the Planning Commission meeting, and we intend to respond to that in writing, and we request a continuance to your next regularly scheduled hearing to allow us time to do that.
You want to come back next Monday?
No.
No.
No,
We'd be here till midnight.
that's Hillsdale
It's
College.
our next scheduled hearing.
That's our next, our regular meeting
Oh,
would be, April 6th. April 6th?
It's fine.
April 1st.
April 1st?
oh,
that's-
perfect
Wait,
day.
is it April?
Perfect day.
No, it's a
No.
Wednesday.
Oh, yeah,
April 6th is the first Monday, right?
in April.
Yeah.
Well, we meet on Mondays.
Yeah, April 6th
Yeah.
at 6:30 here in the auditorium.
Thank you.
Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes,
Okay, so you're giving us that in writing?
I did.
Thank you.
Um,
Oh,
It's in that letter,
I didn't read that letter.
but she saw
Want
it.
a
Been
copy?
passed around by, no, I don't need a copy. It's okay. So we'll continue that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Danny Benda.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, to old business.
Old business, we're gonna table old business, all three items. New business, oh, here we go. We'll let the room clear out for a minute. Okay, so we're still conducting a meeting here. It is on. It is on.
That one's on. But if you make it work, when I have you air it every meeting.
You can invoice for it.
My son has a box, I should bring it in.
Might be better. It would be better.
Just passing back and forth.
Excuse me, we'd like to quiet the room so we can continue our meeting. If you'd like to talk, you can take it outside. We just want to continue our meeting. Under new business, we have application number 20004, marking Karen Murdoch, 24 Gulf Road, Summers, a proposed text amendment to the summer zoning regulation, section 214-4 definitions, section 214-44. Section 214-87 alcohol beverages, and section 214-98 schedule of permitted use to allow for farm, winery, brewery as a permitted use in the zone. Yes, we are ready. Copies of our, oh, you want, here, just that button, we'll get you rolling. Is it green, and the light's green, and you gotta get a little close to the, yeah.
Almost touching it.
Yeah.
Jill, are we dealing with the text amendment or
What?
the proposal right now?
Well,
We're
we're talking about the text amendment. Is that in here, or is this your proposal? It's all
Is
in
it all in
here?
this one book?
Okay.
Jill, why does yours look different than?
Well, they all have different covers, right?
Just that one is assembled in different order.
Oh, okay.
So,
It's hard to read it all along.
right now, we're talking about just the text amendment, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so,
So the packet goes with the second application. There were
Second tab, it looks like this with green,
this,
that's the text amendment.
this is the text amendment. Okay.
You didn't bring extra copies?
No,
You
this
didn't
is the
bring more
text
for the
amendment.
commission?
Very
Yeah,
last
they're all
page.
in there, they're both.
Oh, this is not right.
The very last
This isn't
page?
text amendment.
Very last page
Right
is the
here.
text amendment.
It's short.
Where is it? Oh,
Before the
the
divider.
very last page.
The very
Got it.
last
Very, very.
amendment.
Got it.
Backwards, all right?
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Sorry for the confusion. So,
No.
you're on the presentation, so we,
Cool.
we much anticipated that, we've been talking about this for a year, it's been rumored, and everybody knows, seems to know, but, rather than wait through the new regulations, we decided at this point to submit a text amendment, because we
Mhm.
felt it was the best way to proceed. What we have today is a little presentation of what we were looking for, and why we think a winery here in Summers is ideal. We've been searching from Pennsylvania up to New Hampshire and Maine for a good spot. We'd rather stay here in Summers, our home for the last 15 years. We think we have a good spot, but it starts with a text amendment. So what I'd like to do is defer to my wife Karen, who's got a little presentation on why we think it's good for Summers and why the text amendment is necessary.
Okay.
Thank you. So the green pages in your handout is the presentation about wineries and why we think a farm winery is beneficial for the town of Summers.
I'm sorry, Karen, and
That's the part that's
Okay.
right, your cover sheet.
okay, great, thank you, Karen.
So what makes wineries popular in Connecticut is it's a nice place to go. People like to go and learn about winemaking. They like a nice place to have a picnic. There's opportunities for residents to explore other parts of the state that they haven't been to. The second page, there's already rules in place by the Connecticut Liquor Control Commission regulating how wineries operate. That includes, farm wineries have to grow at least 25% of their own grapes. The liquor control restricts hours of operation, and I cited the Public Act that covers the farm wineries if you need more information.
Mhm.
The Connecticut Department of Agriculture supports farm wineries. Wine and grape growing is one of the fastest growing industries, farming industries. It's a good replacement for tobacco farming, which is, dwindling because of the no smoking. It's a good way to preserve open space and preserve farmland, and it supports economic development. People that come to wineries, typically baby boomers, couples come for a picnic, people have parties there, wedding showers, things like that. And the Connecticut Wine Trail, which is sponsored by the Department of Agriculture, supports the wineries with their passport program to get people out to visit the wineries. The next page, there's been great growth in wineries in the eastern part of the U.S., mostly in New York State, but a lot in coastal states, and now about matching what California produces in wine production. Typically, the next page, typically what's offered at wineries, afternoon acoustical music, sometimes food trucks. Most wineries don't have a restaurant license, so people bring in food trucks or outside caterers so people can buy food. A lot of places offer craft type of things like paint and sip or whatever. Wine and cheese pairings or chocolate pairings. People like to come to wineries and learn about the winemaking process, so picking and crushing events are popular at some wineries. And then the last page, why Summers should support a farm winery. A farm winery completely is in line with the Plan of Conservation and Development. It encourages public use of open space. It protects natural resources. It supports farms and farming. It brings in outside tourism dollars, increases the tax base, increases jobs for local citizens, and it offers a grown-up activities for local citizens. And one thing I would like to stress is this is a low-impact development. It's not heavy metal rock concerts. It's using a space that's beautiful outdoors and allowing other people to see it. And then the very last page of your booklet is our proposed text for the text amendment. So basically, we're asking to add the terms farm, winery, and brewery to the definitions. We're asking to remove the words breweries and distilleries from prohibited uses. We're asking to add farm winery under the permitted alcoholic beverage section, and we're asking to include farm winery as a scheduled permitted use in all of the zones.
In all the zones.
All the zones. Okay.
Well, if you want to modify it and restrict it to some zones, I believe that there was a lot of public comment saying that wineries should be in the business and industrial zone, even though I don't think there's any land in Summers that meets the 5-acre restriction.
Yeah. And you have to grow grapes, industrial.
Generally, yeah.
Areas usually don't.
By the regulations.
Yeah.
The regulation says they need to use,
Of agricultural use, so
Yeah.
therefore you need to have.
25% of your own.
no,
Fruit.
25% of the
Even
state.
Summers regulations, to
The
be
state.
a farm, you
The
have to have
state.
3
Oh.
acres planted.
Yep. And I had a question regarding the 25%.
Oh, wait.
Born and raised on a farm and understand the complexities and challenges. But how would you produce wine if 25%, like the first year? if
You buy it.
Oh, so this would allow you to buy the grapes, bring them in that first year?
Yeah, they need
Well-
It's gotta be,
Well, there's no
in here,
definition here.
it says Connecticut grown fruit.
Connecticut
so-
grown fruit.
So really, the first,
25% of their grapes would need to be from fruit grown in Connecticut.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
the
And it-
text amendment, as shown here, does not even require that it become a Connecticut-grown grape. In
Well, the
theory-
state does, though.
well,
The state
yeah, but
requires it.
Only to put Connecticut-grown on your label.
It's 50%, yeah.
But he could, by this text amendment, import all the grapes
mhm.
from anywhere, produce,
No,
and
the state,
produce
the state, they
wine
can't
at
supersede
the
state
farm,
law.
at the.
No.
One person at a time.
It takes 3 years for.
Correct.
We
Right.
plant this.
You're not
3 years
instantly gonna
Correct.
produce.
That's
We'll
my
buy
point. Yeah.
outside, and the state does allow 7 years to get to the 25% threshold.
Okay.
So there is a growth period.
Yeah.
But it's not just grapes, too. We make wine with apples.
Yes.
We make wine with other fruits that are very good.
Yeah.
So we'll do
Pears.
all of it.
Yeah, there's some.
This appears as though the state only requires that you use 25% grown in the state,
Correct.
not on your particular piece of property.
Correct.
Right?
In the state of
Okay.
Connecticut.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Believe-
Not too hard to do now, there's a lot.
This is-
Oh, yeah.
There's quite a bit of fruit available, I think.
Yeah.
Ups and downs.
Of all kinds.
Yeah.
I'm sure it varies but based on the success or lack of success
Yeah.
of the crops that year.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's some
Yep.
risk.
Oh, but absolutely. You know, there's fungus, viruses, bacteria, there's a lot, you know.
Frost.
Yeah, that, you know, you really can't, Mother Nature controls. But the state does allow you 5 years or 7 years to be able to bring
To ramp
grapes in,
up.
because when that plant goes in the ground, you're not harvesting that year or the next year, or the,
3 years before you get anything.
That's the, okay, yeah.
I don't think, Lucas, that the state requires them to ever
Right.
grow their own.
I think there's a requirement if you own multiple properties that you have 5 acres minimum.
Oh, okay.
But you have to have 2 acres on it. It's kind of weird, different.
Because the wording in
Yeah.
here says.
The wording in here says minimum of 25% Connecticut grown fruit, period.
So you could have just vines for show and then grow and buy your grapes, right?
Well,
I mean,
Theoretically, I guess you could,
Yeah,
but
that would be-
I'm not
No.
following up on you having to
It
No.
grow
costs you money.
25% of your
Our
own
intent, and
fruit.
I think current regulations here in Summers, if it's gonna be a farm, we have to produce at least 3 acres or more
Yeah.
for agriculture,
Yeah.
so
Right.
there you go.
So nobody
But-
would plant,
That's planting it and starting it is where, I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna take a little while to start.
yeah,
agreed.
but just like no one's gonna
So-
plant 30 acres of soybeans just to let them grow and,
And this is one of the
Each
things
year.
that did come up in the plan of conservation and development as an encouraged use.
Mhm.
it has?
Yeah.
It has,
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
and they were positive? Or they,
Yes, Lucas, surprisingly so.
well, no, I'm not a member, so.
So again, this is just a text amendment, this is not an application for that's where we are now, we're
Yeah, well,
just,
we submitted both.
I know, but I
Right,
think,
but we don't have anything for your second one to
Right.
go to because it's not allowed.
because we don't
right now.
have anything, so the
So you have to
second,
one at a time.
the second, item under new business is gonna be,
Tables.
tabled because we don't have this text amendment, therefore we can't,
If we accept
can't
your
accept a
application along
special
with the
use.
text amendment, the clock starts running on your application.
we have to do,
If the amendment doesn't get approved in time, you get denied.
And how long is that, Carl? Like 60 days? Or
Well,
approximately?
we need to set a public hearing because it's a text amendment to the
Right.
regulations.
and
Okay?
this public hearing could be,
Here again, our agendas are a little crowded,
mhm.
okay?
Especially over the next few weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
Because once we clear the open, large
If they accepted.
hearing we have,
65
Oh,
days.
wow.
I mean, we could schedule this the same, well, we could schedule it for, the 6th, April 6th.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else going on?
Well, April 6th, we have
What we
John-
April
Yeah.
6th,
John, we have
April 6th,
Haley
we're going to
Lane.
have Haley Lane come back.
Haley Lane with the
We're going to
blasting
have
and earth
the
removal.
first meeting after closing the public hearing
For
next Monday, if we close. I don't see how we're not going to close it.
Hillsdale.
So it'll be the first meeting date to discuss in a meeting Hillsdale's application,
Without being a special meeting.
Without being a special
without being a
meeting.
special
'Cause
meeting.
we have a meeting next
And,
Monday, which
I
is
mean,
a
the
special
clock
meeting.
starts again on that
Literally
one, when we
been
close the
meeting
public
almost
hearing,
every
when we have
Monday
X
or
amount of days
Tuesday.
to render a
Like-
decision.
A lot. We've been averaging 2 a month at least. So,
Yeah, special.
do you, I know there'll be a lot of talk.
There is precedent for you to accept the text amendment and an application at the same time.
And what is that precedent?
The tea house,
Oh,
We did both at the same
you
time.
did both at the same time.
is that true, Jennifer?
Yes,
We
it's
did.
true,
You
Wilkes.
you can.
We can.
Oh, we get, so we did, but I just want to make sure that, if it was done for Tea House,
Well, there's a
The
difference
precedent.
between a tea house and
And
a
a vineyard.
winery.
Yeah, that's a home occupation slash,
The tea
little
house was
different.
changing
Well, the thing is,
well, that,
if you have a public hearing on the text amendment, everyone is gonna come out with a specific property in mind that they're going to talk about, whether or not that application is on the table or not.
That's fine,
You might
because
as well get them over with at once and just,
But we
Take
can't,
those things.
we can't accept, I'm saying, as chair, we can't accept a special use application for something that we don't have in our regs right now.
but you have in the past.
ones that we know,
We had-
ones that we know of, you're right.
There was something, there was a little bit more to that, because there was, that was a bed and breakfast, that property was a little bit different, that's,
yeah. Well, and we got to be honest and upfront. That was, the Tea House, and everybody knows this, is the first selectman, so I want to make sure we're giving the
Yeah.
same fairness and treatment
I don't think-
to these people as the first selectman and his wife.
We had already accepted a application for that before. They realized that they needed a text amendment
Mhm.
also. We accepted the application first.
Okay.
We were heading to the next meeting, to
Yep.
have a public hearing on it, and it was pointed out that it wasn't allowed under the current regulations.
Okay, so we accepted both of them.
Correct, we did.
Okay.
Not planned, though.
No. But you did. I guess I
You're right.
looked at it as.
Yeah,
We're
not
going to the
planned,
point of
accepted.
accepting the application, is the application in good order? Is it full and complete?
You know what, I don't
Did I
know.
look at it?
In looking
I
at,
find
in
it-
looking at how brief it is, I'm not
It's
sure
It's right here,
that it
it's in this
includes
package, you
enough.
already have
Yeah.
one? Did you,
The package that was handed to us?
No, the application,
everybody have
the text amendment is brief, very brief.
you all have a package, it was left in,
Yes,
see what your,
It's right here.
yeah.
Dan, it's right there, it's in this thing.
In this thing?
But I don't...
no, it's not.
Oh, the application's not in here?
I gave you a copy of the application. Tonight's packet is all put together.
I have this right here. Here's
Not
the
the one that says
application.
Hillsdale,
Yeah, this has the map,
Okay.
and I believe it's in,
I know it's your decision, we have brought our architect here to cover some, think it's possible, that if possible, you could listen to a little bit of the site plan, we did present the site plan, and some of the building, pictures and depictions, so it'd be nice if you could, well, he's here, here's,
Yeah.
it would cost me money to bring him here.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. Do you want me to say that?
it's also in here.
Jill, here's the...
I see it, I've seen it.
Okay.
I
It's in
haven't
here,
seen the full, but I've
somewhere.
seen it.
Oh, it is in there.
It is in here,
Okay.
it's also here.
Everything I have here has to do with the
So would it be,
I
would
only
we
have
have to
the online
accept
records
this
that were
for
sent to me.
the architect to
What are you looking for?
discuss, or?
I'm looking for what you have.
What I have?
The
Yeah, I
application
don't see it.
itself.
Well,
I mean, the thing is, the architect can speak if the applicant would like it to be part of the presentation, if the commission would like to hear what the architect has to input.
Yeah.
And if I may, Jill, address Lucas's concerns about, or precedent, well,
We don't set
it
precedents.
can,
No.
you can accept them simultaneously if you choose, due to, but cases are different where, as Carl said, we had an application and then they withdrew the application and reapplied with the text amendment and the use. And that is a minor, you know, there wasn't as much to look into as the complexity of winery. So, depending on the comfort, how the commission feels about, because you start the clock ticking.
Right.
That's 65 days.
Start it within 65 days, and you have to close it within 35 days. And I think Carl's trying to explain.
We have concurrent, we would have concurrent clocks. The-
Correct.
The
Yeah.
65 days counting both on the text amendment and the
And-
application at the same time.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
anything happens that slows up the approval or
Could cause them to be...
amendment of the text amendment,
Yep,
okay,
yep.
it could cause them to get to the end of the time limit on that. Simply granting us an extension still keeps us under the thumb, okay?
Yep, so they...
I think there's a lot more to the actual application than there may be to the text amendment.
Agree, I agree with what Carl's saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
I'm
application
looking
is
through here, I'm looking
more
through here.
complex.
Application?
Yeah,
Is this the official application?
No,
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 this,
that's a
yeah,
I get,
proposal.
this could be the
yeah.
application.
This is the whole...
Well,
It was...
well, you got something there that I don't have.
Well, that was sitting right here with,
Yeah, see, I don't,
No,
I
this is
think
just-
that's a
This is the application that I got by email.
yes,
Yeah.
we got this, we also got the
but
presentation,
It
we
doesn't
also got
include-
the text amendment, we also got
I
the,
mean, there's a site plan in here,
I had a lot of emails.
I believe,
In the packet, where's the packets I made you, and I had your name on it?
and you're only like 5 pages, most of them are 40 or 50 now.
I know.
Trying to keep it simple.
So it should be,
I think I...
I don't think the text amendment is the big issue. I think
Well,
the
I'm
bigger
not sure there's a lot
picture,
to it.
the bigger, well, there's not a lot to it, but at the bigger picture is the special use permit. And it's not like a, you know, I know you're comparing it to a tea room. That was a bed and breakfast, that was already existing use along those lines too.
two of them are applications.
Jill, we had a meeting,
The application for the wine.
Connecticut Farm Bureau supports this.
Mhm.
The state of Connecticut supports it.
Yeah.
So as
Wineries.
far as it's not a,
We support
you're not
wineries.
reinventing the
not-
wheel there,
Yeah.
you know, and Connecticut has a lot of things that they have to go through as far as registering and, like they said, they have to
Correct.
get the tax guy involved, and it's quite a bit.
The alcohol,
Yeah.
ATF or whatever.
It's
You know.
not, there's a lot of it that's, I was looking, there's a one that says the Connecticut, what they do.
Yep.
It's like, she said, you know, it covers a lot of,
Mhm.
that what would even think about, you know?
Yep. So, I'm trying to understand, why would we not, based upon that information, and I know this is different than a tea room, but each are both complex in their own separate way, but why would we not accept the applications? Because I assume the applicant
We're
is
accepting.
applying to accept them.
We would accept the text amendment request application,
Okay.
and then upon approval of that, accept the application for the use.
Which is what you're requesting, correct?
Mm.
No.
No.
No?
Again.
Okay.
Upon approval of the text amendment, accept the application for the use, after there is a regulation that allows it.
Okay, so they want to have the text amendment approved tonight.
Well, they're not gonna get the text amendment
Oh,
approved
okay.
tonight. There needs to
No.
be a public hearing.
Well, that's what, okay.
Yeah,
that's
all
what I
we're
was
doing
thinking.
would be accepting this text amendment, scheduling a public hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll make
Yeah, what-
that
that-
motion.
second.
Dan made a
Yeah.
motion to accept the text amendment,
Exactly-
schedule a public
exactly what
hearing
you said.
for April 6th.
Wait, so I would start over. I would state, you make a motion to accept application number, if you're doing the first one. And then,
Right,
just
I
so
don't-
we're-
20-004.
Do you have the agenda?
Run out, yeah.
On the agenda.
20-004.
Yep.
Let me see.
Point it out to them.
Yeah, 20-004,
Yes.
okay?
Do you have, does he have to read all of
Application
it?
for text
Oh.
amendment, and then schedule public hearing for what date?
She said April 6th.
It's our next regular meeting.
You have to state it in the motion.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do, and you state the time and where it is.
Yes.
All right, so, well, I need to read the need to read the motion, right?
Right.
Okay. So, new business, right there, that one?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, Mark and Karen Murdock, 24 Gulf Road, Summers, Connecticut. Proposed text amended to Summers zoning regulation, section 2144, definition, 21444, prohibited uses, 21487, alcohol beverage, and 21498, schedule of permit use to allow farm winery as a permitted use in all zones.
Okay, Dan made, for a public
For a
hearing
public hearing,
on
yes.
April 6th at 6:30 here in the town hall.
refer the application to planning.
Yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead, put that down.
Refer the application to planning. Does somebody want to second that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Carl, second that motion. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed to the date, actually.
You're opposed
You're
to the
opposed to the
date?
date?
Yeah.
Why?
April 6th?
How are we gonna do all of that?
Well,
It's gonna
I
be
mean-
another...
Well,
how are we gonna do all of,
on April 6th, we are going to have Haley Lane.
continuation?
Continuation of that. And
Public hearing, correct?
Yes, and then this would be a public
With all
hearing
those people who
on
left,
this.
yeah?
But this is for the text amendment. It's not for specific property.
Even
Keeping
though
that
that-
in mind,
Public hearing
we will,
and discussion.
yeah.
We
Hey, you
vote
made
or not vote?
you already
I'm-
voted, you made
Yeah.
a motion and then you
Yes.
voted and it passed, so was Paige
Okay.
in
Babe, I'm trying to,
Yeah.
you're in favor, okay, so
Okay.
it's unanimous,
So then you don't,
unanimous.
you
It's
already voted,
unanimous.
you usually make a motion, you second it, you discuss it, and then you vote.
Yeah.
But I know that, but
Yeah.
she's questioning the date
So
in
that was
our,
just for-
in our
the first-
scheduling.
Yep, that was
Okay.
for the first application, so now the next application.
The next,
Someone has to make a motion to do something like
I'll do
20
that.
Do that.
I make a motion that we,
Can I ask
Go ahead.
something first before you make your motion?
sure.
If you're going to wait until the text amendment is approved before you take this application, will that be in April or will that be in May?
We can't tell you when it would be approved.
Well,
We can only set the public hearing.
but do you have to be, we would have to be on the agenda already for April
You are.
you are, right now.
No.
for the application. We would have to be on the agenda already with something that's not yet approved.
We're going to have a public hearing on the 6th on
Yeah.
your text amendment
Yes,
application.
yes.
Does not mean we're going to open, close, approve everything that day.
Okay. When would we be able to put in our application for a specific property?
Isn't that what they're doing?
When there is something to apply for.
when they.
Okay.
When there's
the
something in our
public
zoning
hearing.
regulation that permits what you want to do.
Okay, which would mean after April 6th. So I'm going to appeal again to please accept the application now, because there is precedent, so that we don't have to wait 2 or 3 more months. We've been waiting almost a year already.
So you're, and I'm sorry if I'm confused. You're asking us to
She's
accept
asking us to accept both applications at once,
and schedule public hearings,
for both applications at once,
okay, on the same day, April 6th.
when there isn't anything to apply
Right,
for.
no.
Because we haven't accepted, we don't have a regulation that allows them to apply to yet.
But we do have precedent where we've done this previously on a similar but not exact.
This, well, you know,
Unit.
our zoning regulations got put aside, let's say. So, with that said, had they not,
It
we
might
wouldn't
have
be
already
in this,
been
but it
approved.
would have been in our text amendment, right? We all know that, so we're not, we just would like to take this text amendment, have the public hearing, like we have scheduled.
Will you be able to accept it at the April?
And you know, and
We'll be able
sometimes,
to accept it when there's something to apply for.
But you can accept it without,
no, we really can't.
What?
you know.
And,
We didn't accept,
and all,
I know you're gonna keep pointing back to the tea room. We didn't accept it in an application to amend it for any other reason than it was pointed out specifically that we had nothing to approve because there was nothing that allowed it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have accepted that one.
And as a member, I'm concerned the way that looks, although right or wrong. I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong, but the way that looks from someone in the public, and even me, it looks like we accepted both for whatever reason. And,
Until we explained to you exactly what happened, yeah.
well, call me stupid, I guess it kind of still sounds the same. And I understand there was a slight variance that they did not understand, or there was no applicant, but it...
It wasn't the applicant, it was us.
Okay, us, but we accepted two,
No, actually, they withdrew the application for the,
and reapplied with two.
and applied first for the amendment, which was a word.
Okay, which would be like a text amendment, correct? One word
It
text
was
amendment.
a text amendment.
Okay, which we approved, and then a follow-up.
Could you table application number 5 to April 6th? It would be after the public hearing.
what do you mean, application number 5? Do you
It's
mean 2?
20-005.
Oh,
We're already 5
For
into the
Farm
year.
Winery. Could you table item number 2 under new business to your April 6th meeting, which would then be after the public hearing, and you'd get a better sense of if you
That
wanted to
would-
receive it and then schedule it, then you
No.
have
Yeah.
to schedule a
Because
public
the
hearing.
town
think-
attorney, I'd like his opinion on this
Well,
with precedent.
I don't
you know.
think it's a good idea
Well, then we
to
don't
do
accept
that.
any of them, and we wait for the town attorney to
Right.
rule.
If we do
Well,
that
not
on the
rule.
6th, we may not
Well,
have
that's what
any-
you're asking
On the
for.
6th, I'm
No.
suggesting that you make a decision to receive it and schedule a public hearing, or reject the application. So if you just table that till the 6th, you haven't officially received it.
Oh, I see.
You have a time frame. You have
I think if you're tabling something, you
you have
received it.
65 days.
No.
No?
No.
You have
Well-
65 days to open a public hearing once you receive the application.
And tabling it is not actually receiving it, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Yes, well, that should do that.
You-
If you're all open to that,
To table it?
to table it.
Seems like a compromise.
With the understanding that that means nothing in terms of the official timetable or
Right.
other decision-making, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the
Yep.
clock's gonna start on the first, on the application
Only
for
when
the
we
text
accept it.
amendment right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a given.
The clock starts on April 1st, on the
For-
20-004.
No, it started today.
Yes,
Oh,
today.
it starts
Yes,
today.
today.
You schedule the public
Started today, we
hearing.
scheduled a public hearing at
Yeah.
our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is the 6th of April.
You don't have to worry about a clock right now for the
Okay.
first applicant, for the text amendment.
Okay.
You just have to,
Well, no, we kinda do.
no,
the
you're
same-
receiving it tonight and you're scheduling a public hearing within 35 days, so you're good to.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about a
Okay.
clock.
Hmm.
Until you, now, when you open
Mhm.
up the public hearing on April 6th, then your clock starts ticking with when
Okay.
you need to.
65 days to
public
close the
hearing.
public hearing and then X
So-
amount of days to decide.
So I would suggest that, again, you either reject, and even, I mean, if you table it or reject it, they could present it that
Oh, I
day
know, I
as
agree.
a business. So
I agree.
whichever way you're comfortable with, but someone has to.
And if
make a
they gave you
motion
any
to do
fees,
something.
you'd return the fee too.
I'm sorry?
If she gave you any fee for that second
Right.
application,
I
you
mean, we could
return
do
the
that, and
fee.
then she could come in 2 weeks and
Well,
apply
we
for
should
it.
And
keep
we-
the money,
We also do have special meetings.
unless you
We
already
do-
spent it.
We have a special meeting next Monday, we're back here.
It's almost every month now.
It's not like we don't try to work with people, we do.
And we'd be more than willing to work with you guys.
Yeah.
We're
There's
just,
nothing
we're
that
trying
says
to
on-
prevent, it makes the whole issue a lot harder to deal with if you've got an application to allow something and the application for what you want to allow at the same time.
Sure, but I think everybody knows at this point what it's all about.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
sure they do. I mean, you guys have done a very good job of reaching out to people so they understood what you're proposing.
Mhm.
The thing the only thing in my mind that sort of got in the way was when they came the last time and spoke about the amendment to the regulations, they thought it was just for you and only you.
Right.
And it's not,
It's not.
you know?
And that will be clear, I mean, I state that it's not about a specific property, it's a text amendment.
And in the case of the other one, the tea room, that wasn't about only one property. That is now a change that anyone else who has a similar situation can apply for. And in hindsight, probably shouldn't have done that, but we were already there.
Yeah. We shouldn't have to be doing this, really, but... So,
I mean, you can have them do a presentation
Yeah,
if you want,
would you-
but I don't know about what, or, I mean, is there anything other than, you're not proposing new buildings and all that right now, are you?
yes, there is a building.
Well, there's a building in there that looks like the warming house.
No, you're proposing there's a proposed, that's what this building is, right?
Yeah, it's elevation.
The elevations of this. There's no interior, but it's just elevation.
Yeah.
This was emailed to us.
Yep.
It's gonna go up here on
Over the bridge.
over right here. When
Oh,
you come
okay,
in,
over where
it's
the-
right over there,
I know
by
where
the
that
big
is.
parking area.
Oh, okay, up in the upper area there.
Yep. Yep.
We'll present that another time.
I'm sorry, I know architects get paid hourly, you know. Will you return your fee now? Only if you present will you charge a fee. You know, it's charity, right? You
You
Hmm?
make a motion, somebody,
What?
for, we made a
Well,
motion.
no, we need
we're
to
all
make a
set.
motion on
We're gonna,
05.
right.
I mean, it can be it can be resubmitted at the April 6th
No,
meeting.
you need to make a motion. It's on the agenda.
Yeah, we have to
Yeah.
make a
So you
motion
need
to
to make a
table it.
Make a motion that
Table
we,
or reject it.
that we reject application 20-005 at this time and invite the applicant to resubmit it. And we will return the fee, if you've paid one.
Okay.
All in favor of-
Reject it without prejudice. They can still reapply, just say.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we're not-
I'm saying we would accept it, we'll accept it at a later date.
Okay.
Certainly not saying we don't want it back.
Carl made a motion, anybody want to second that motion?
Emotion.
Emotion, I'm a motion, there we go.
I'll second that.
Dan,
second that.
Dan second that, all in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Carl,
Unanimous.
did you made the motion?
Yes.
Carl made the
And Dan.
motion, Dan seconded it.
Okay.
It's on the
Okay.
agenda.
Moving right along. This has been
So
painful.
can we apply for the April 6th?
You can come back on April 6th and apply if you'd like, sure. We may suggest that you wait again, depending on the outcome of the public hearing.
Yeah, in between
But
then
sure.
and, between now and then, I'm sure our attorney's gonna look at that text amendment. There's gonna be some other eyes on it. It's got referred to planning, planning's gonna look at it.
We're gonna compare it to the stuff that was written in the proposal for the
Yep.
regulation update, and may include some of that. I mean, it's gonna evolve a bit.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now we have to have our annual
Now we have our annual meeting.
meeting. The papers are all over the place here. Excuse me.
I didn't see anything we need to change in
No,
there.
I didn't see anything. So, you make,
Make a motion to what, that's election of officers is first. And I don't know, I am one, so I don't know if I'm gonna make a proposal.
Everybody have a copy of the
I
bylaws?
think we want
Yes.
to keep Jill as the chair. We're not letting her off the hook now.
so, first on our annual meeting, we're gonna discuss the election of officers.
I nominate Jill as continuing as chair.
Second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thanks, Paige. Then we need a vice chair.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll nominate Carl.
Oh, nomination.
Carl, vice chair.
I'll second that.
Paige nominated Carl. Dan seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we need
I'll
a
nominate Lucas to continue as secretary.
Lucas.
Of course, I know he's got a bad wing. Good thing you're
Are you
left-handed.
Oh.
left-handed?
Yes.
Okay.
If no, I wouldn't.
Do you want
I couldn't
to stay
do
with
that.
your position?
Sure, if y'all want me to.
So Carl made a motion for
I'll
Lucas.
second that.
Dan seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So really, the slate stays the same.
Exactly.
One more year.
Maybe.
One more year.
One more year. Yeah. We all make
I'm
it-
sorry,
we all
can I
make
ask
it
y'all
one
real
more
quick?
year.
On
Yeah.
the first nomination for you, who nominated you?
Count on you.
Carl.
I
Carl.
did.
Carl.
And who's second? Oh, I did.
You did.
You did.
Okay.
And then
On
for
Carl, who
Carl.
nominated Carl?
Paige.
Paige,
And who seconded?
Dan,
Oh, okay.
and then for
Thought it was me,
you,
huh?
Carl.
for him,
I nominated
nom-
Lucas.
Okay.
and Paige second, for.
We don't have
I
a
don't
second, we
Correct?
just vote,
If
right?
we don't,
Just
it's not
vote.
like
No.
we get a
Okay,
nickel
so
apiece. for
there we
I'm
go.
just making sure I have this down, so I don't...
Okay, and then our bylaws review, I mean, I didn't, is there anything you think needs to be changed? I
Well,
didn't think so, or did you have?
In yellow.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Approval of minutes of previous meeting.
And I have some questions also regarding that, knowing, I used to keep
What section
notes.
are you in?
Oh,
Let's go to this first.
Section
Let's go to
5.
page 3 first with what,
well, page 2 is before 3.
oh, sorry.
No, section 5 is right there.
Wait, I know, but I'm...
He said section 5.
Yeah, but this,
Yeah,
section 5.
so
The
before we
secretary-
got the video, I was taking minutes. And then, when we got the video and streaming,
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression minutes were not, I don't know.
So I don't know,
Well-
the way that this is worded, basically says that the secretary prepares and distributes the agenda of regular and special meeting and arranges for proper legal notices and hearings.
No,
Which-
never
No, that's
have.
not, no.
They never have.
It's always come from the office.
Exactly, but, so that's in here, so I don't know if you want to just.
Well, the
read
other
them.
thing is, we're one of the only, well, I can't say one of the only, because I really don't know about any others than the ones I'm on, okay?
Yeah,
Conservation has a
recording secretary.
recording secretary.
Right. So,
Oh, ZBA, at least when I was on it.
I
had
think
one.
they still have, well, I don't know if they do or not, I
And for
think one
planning,
of
we had
them...
one too.
everyone does it different, and
Yeah.
and it depends, so like in Vernon on the.
No, but this commission used to have a recording
Right, I
secretary as
understand.
well.
Yes,
Right.
for years.
Yeah,
But
they
the
stopped.
secretary is the person who holds the office as secretary has never
Right.
Prepared an agenda.
prepared the
Right.
agendas or any of that. That's
Usually,
always been the staff person.
liaison.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Do you want to
saying,
change
like,
that
I
to staff
don't know if
liaison?
you just want to strike it, the secretary, so in Vernon, for the ZBA, the secretary reads the agenda items. Like the chair calls it to order.
I can read.
Secretary reads the agenda, items.
I like that better than
I'm-
all this.
I'm just saying, if you want to reword it, I took a quick look at them and pointed out what was kind of
I
strange.
think it's basically a matter, it's just to go along with the way the Robert's rules spell out the titles,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
is why it ended up that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we could make it anything we want.
Right.
I mean, Lucas is the one who signs the minutes, okay? He doesn't mean he
No, he
has to
doesn't.
write, no,
I
I
do.
know.
You do?
Oh, it's like,
Well, if you're really demoted, you're not gonna get any money out of
I'm
this.
like,
So,
We might have you pay.
yeah.
but
No,
because
I'm
of
like, I don't-
technology, and now we video and record everything,
Yeah.
does that change?
No, because
The
Jen ends
minutes
up
still,
sitting and watching the video and writing minutes.
You can have it however you want.
Oh, yeah.
so you rewatch the video and do the
Sometimes,
minutes?
Probably
I
on
take
Tuesday.
notes.
She takes
Yeah.
notes.
Watch the video, but yeah, so I just,
I mean, the record of the meeting is always gonna be there as long as we're able to get a meeting taped.
right.
Mhm.
And we have had a couple where we didn't get it.
Or the staff.
One where the mic didn't
falls
work,
out.
one where
Right.
the video didn't
Right.
work, but only two so far I'm aware of.
I just wanted to point that out since we're officially reviewing the bylaws, that
Yeah.
didn't get,
And knowing knowing that technically Section 5 is, everybody can read it, and if I've not been doing that, and you've been doing those responsibilities,
I want
is there
your
a
pay
stipend?
for that.
No.
Yeah, I'll give you 100% of it.
Well, the thing
All
is,
right.
Lucas, for
At
the
zero.
person who does it for conservation, they do get paid.
Did you get
But they
paid?
do it on their own time. I do the minutes.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm not,
I do it on-
I'm not
No, they have a
disputing that,
recording
Jen.
secretary,
Yeah,
right?
Joanna does not do the minutes.
Right.
Does that take a
Candace,
week?
Alex does not do the minutes.
Correct.
I can't remember her name. She does the minutes.
We used to have Connie Corenza
There's a-
doing our
We
minutes.
did,
girl
she
that
did,
does
she
that.
did zoning, she
Yeah,
did planning,
planning.
she did everybody.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
There's
the
a girl that
ZBA,
does
the
them on
same.
conservation.
Yeah, I know.
lady.
Yeah,
That's
That's
what we're just
what
speaking about.
happened.
Yeah,
I
right.
think she quit or left, and then we started getting random people.
No,
and-
they never filled the position because they
Oh.
wanted to pocket the money. I don't
Is
know
there
what.
anything else?
How much
I-
are
it
they
wasn't in
supposed
the,
to be paying?
it wasn't in the budget.
I think they get,
That's up to you guys. If you want to leave it there, because it's always been there, if you want to bring it up to 2020.
But doesn't,
Take
if we
it out.
leave it there, it doesn't really, I mean, I've never,
Well,
it's never,
really?
I never really.
yeah, don't, I
One,
mean,
two,
Lucas,
three.
believe me, we're not expecting you to
To do
comply
this,
with all
no.
that. That'd be ridiculous. You're a
So
volunteer
you just
like
want to
we
leave it
are.
there?
Yeah.
Just leave it as it is?
For now.
Okay. So then on the next
Let the
page-
next people worry about it.
Okay. So on the next page, your order of business, I was just suggesting, and I didn't really realize this, I think I've already been doing it.
Yeah, minutes approval was been in toward the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
Right. So I just wanted to make
Take
that
out that.
correction.
Do we want to add the Pledge of Allegiance to our,
No. In my opinion, no.
We did it a couple times.
We've done it a
for
couple
Mike-
times.
For Mike Busher, who
because
asked.
one of the veterans that comes
Yeah.
in and he asks us to do it. And I don't know if,
I mean, I wouldn't
We-
object to it, but
I mean, the selectmen do it.
It works okay,
Well,
in
that's
here, it works okay in here, but in the other room, I'm not sure there's a flag.
Yeah. And also, they're elected officials. And-
So how do you handle
You're
that
pretty
going
official,
forward? When
though.
somebody comes forward and says, would you do the Pledge Allegiance for the night? Do we add the Pledge Allegiance? I'm always conflicted as should we,
We could.
and we
I mean,
do,
you can
we
do it-
have, we've added
We did it
twice.
on demand.
It happens to be
Yeah.
on certain nights.
But I know there's people with a religious belief that I neither agree or disagree, but, you know, I wouldn't want to make someone feel like they had to do something that had a specific
Oh,
religious
nowadays, they
belief.
don't do it anyways.
The school, our
They don't
schools
want
do
to.
it.
They don't do it in school
They
anymore?
They do.
Doesn't
My
want to
daughter.
feel if someone feels obligated to stand up and do the pledge.
They don't
You know,
have
we were
to.
at a basketball game.
They'll
and
take
we
a
played the
knee.
national anthem, and this guy sat on the front row of the bleachers on his phone and didn't stand.
Was he injured, like a broken leg?
No.
Oh,
No, he
He
was
took a knee.
exercising his right.
He took
a
He was
knee.
exercising his right not to.
Yeah.
yeah.
Took a text.
I guess
So, just,
I don't know. I know we did it
We've done it
once or
twice.
twice, but.
And it's been when he's here, and it's also been on Hillsdale.
I don't know, were you standing up at home doing it?
What?
Well, you weren't here for either the meeting
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah. Oh.
When you watched the
God.
video, you stood up?
Okay,
I went and got all this information, and I thought I had to watch them all over the weekend. That's why I texted you
I
going,
know.
is there a
A
meeting?
meeting,
And you're
yeah,
like,
no,
no,
no.
the next one. So I literally spent Saturday and Sunday,
Good for you to
hours
catch
and
up.
hours and hours.
What did you learn, how did you feel after that?
Well,
You
first of
wanted
all,
to go
y'all, when
smack
I'm not
something,
here,
huh?
your meetings are way too long. One was 2 hours and 48 minutes. And I
this
was like,
meeting was long.
Hey, you know what? It wouldn't have made a difference.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No,
did you hear,
it wouldn't.
none of us talked.
Oh, well, what I noticed though was everybody, I thought it was a mistake, like y'all left the thing running. But
No.
there were still,
They were going.
right.
because I even went back to like 9.
No, there were
23.
there was a lot of people
Yeah.
I'm
talking.
just staring.
Okay, so the only thing we're doing is removing,
Reviewing them?
We're gonna
the-
move approval of minutes down to number seven.
Yeah.
So 3 is now set.
3 is now
Yep,
7.
no,
So
3
there's
is deleted and moved.
Oh,
Yes.
3 is now old business.
Okay.
So there's only 7 of these now.
No, there's 8.
3 is,
What?
what?
She reassigned 3.
But this
Yes,
is-
3. See, there's 2 3s?
Oh, okay. I'm
One
sorry,
3
yeah.
lined out and she
Okay, yep,
replaced it with another
okay,
3?
Yep,
Mhm.
yep,
So she moved them up, there was
So it's
probably
still
9
eight.
originally.
yeah.
So we could just make a motion to approve the, or,
Make a
bylaws
motion to
as
approve the
amended.
bylaws
with the.
with the amendment in order of business.
Okay.
Perfect. All in favor of that?
How about a second?
Oh, how about a second?
Second.
Carl made a motion, Dan seconded it.
Carl motion.
All in favor of approving the bylaws as amended
What?
in section, order of business?
Yay.
Aye.
Aye.
Yep,
So these bylaws are adopted.
yep.
Bylaws?
Bylaws.
Bylaws.
Bylaws. Minutes
January
approval.
13th,
Okay,
Nobody's here to argue with us, right?
right.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
For all 3? Or,
The ones I read through seemed fine, and
I read through them.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll second it.
Okay.
Carl, you're
All of
approving the minutes as written for January 13th, January 21st, and February 3rd?
yes.
Carl made a motion, Dan seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved as
Oh, I'm sorry.
written.
I
Motion.
abstain.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second
I'm
it.
making motion to adjourn.
Okay, so Lucas made a motion to adjourn,
Second.
Carl seconded it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, at 8:39
8:39.
PM.